Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video, I will be ranking the eyeshadow palettes that I use throughout the month of January. There are 11 spots in this ranking. I didn't use a ton of palettes really in the month of January, and I think I filmed all of these looks except for one, and that look I created for a challenge on Instagram, which I'll go into more detail as I show you the palette and whatnot. And I will be also popping up pictures of the looks that I created with these palettes in case you didn't see one of the videos or whatnot, or want to be have your memory refreshed on the looks that I created with these palettes. I'll be doing that for you. So I just ranked them this way based on how I feel about these palettes. I mean, if I used other palettes, I might have ranked them differently. I know I make this way too complicated. I don't dislike any of these palettes. The palettes that are ranked lower, I don't dislike them. I love them. It's just that in terms of the other stuff I used, I just ranked them this way. It was a little tricky though, because I got some new single shimmers from Divina Cosmetics that I used a lot throughout the month of January. Wasn't the easiest for me to rank those because I love them all. Anyway, let's get into the ranking. In the 11th spot, I grabbed my BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palettes. I did do a collab with Nikki Lynn. I'll link her channel in my description box. And what we did is we randomly selected one shade out of each of these palettes, so 5 shades in total, to create our eye looks with. And that was super fun, although the shades I chose didn't really go that well together. I liked the look eventually. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about the look. But I ended up liking it. As the day progressed, I did really like the look. It was really fun. And Nikki's look was absolutely gorgeous. And we chose very similar shades, but she just nailed it with her look. She's a lot more adventurous with her eye looks than I will ever be. But these are lovely. I love all the color stories. The cherry on top's not necessarily my favorite. I do love the color story, but a lot of the shades, let me grab that one and show it to you. I'm not going to show them all to you. But this palette here, Cherry on Top, it just pulls really pink on me. It really does. And, you know, yes, there are some pink shades in here. Of course there are. But like some of the more redder looking shades in the pan, like this one, say, just pulls very pink on me. The really true red shades in here on my eyelids, really it's only this one right here, and that one's called Black Cherry. This one kind of does, but it just looks dark pink. I've thought about decluttering this, but I am going to hold on to it. I am, because it's a beautiful palette. Just need to get over the fact that it's not as red as I would like it to be. But yeah, these are all amazing. I think BH Cosmetics' best formulated palettes, and I'm thrilled to have them in my collection. The palette in the 10th spot is the Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. Now, I did not film the look that I created with this palette. I actually created the look for a challenge on Instagram. It was from Charlie. Her channel name is Nut Butter Beauty. I think that's also her Instagram handle. I'll link her channel in my description box. She and I are getting ready to do a couple collabs together. It's going to be so much fun. Now, the premise of that challenge was that Charlie had grabbed a couple different pictures of cruise ships, and it was the singles cruise. So the idea was to grab singles out of your eyeshadow collection and create a look with those. And I totally missed that part of the challenge. I was just trying to recreate the colors in the images that she chose. So I just grabbed this and put a look together with it. And as I was popping my picture up on Instagram and really looking at what Charlie had written for the challenge, and I did know it initially, I was like, I totally spaced the singles part of this. So dumb. But I'm really happy that I was able to take part in the challenge and that she accepted my entry, because I totally screwed up the whole premise of the challenge. But this is such a beautiful palette. I love the color story. Really fun to play with. You know, if you like blue shadows but they intimidate you, this is a great palette, because these are more like purple leaning blues. Really fun. And you got a lot of really beautiful neutral options in here. So yeah, it was really fun to pull this out and play with it. I just totally biffed the actual concept of the challenge. The palette in the 9th spot is the Divina Cosmetics Fantasia palette. Now, Shawnee, my dear friend and baby bear, she sent this to me. Beautiful packaging and a beautiful color story. The only reason why this is in the 9th spot is because I've only used it the one time, and I only used 3 shades out of the palette. I used these 2 mattes and then this shimmer here. I just wanted to create a quick look with this palette, and I felt like you really can do that just using a couple shadows, because the shimmer shade, the shimmers from Divina are so dynamic, so flippy, so unique. that you really don't need to pack, 8 shades on your lids to have it look beautiful. Just quick, easy look, you're done. And I really felt like I got that out of this palette. I just want to continue to get more experience with it, play with it more. If I'd played with this several times, this may be ranked higher. It's not a bad palette. It's gorgeous. It's just, I don't have a ton of experience with it. The palette in the 8th spot is the Nomad Cosmetics America's Parks palette. I did create 2 looks with this. I'm currently doing that with all of my Nomad palettes here and there, just creating 2 looks with them, having a lot of fun. Love this color story. I love the greens especially because I'm a huge green eyeshadow fan. The reason why this is ranked 8th is not because I didn't enjoy playing with it. I love this palette, but there's just not a lot of depth in here. You know what I mean? I think out of, well, just looking at it, this shade and this shade, maybe this, are the deepest shades, and they're just not that deep. They're fine, they're beautiful. And also this is a more neutral leaning palette. I really enjoyed both the looks that I created with it, I did. But I don't know, in comparison to some of my other Nomad palettes, and also obviously in comparison to some of the other palettes I used in January, this just wasn't super like some of the other palettes that I used. But yeah, it was really fun doing the 2 looks. I'm gonna keep playing with my Nomad palettes, of course. The shades that belong in the 7th spot came from a couple different sources. The mattes came from this palette right here. This is the Be Perfect Carnival Antidote palette. I did not film this look either, I guess, so there's 2 looks I didn't film. The mattes that I chose for the look was this one here called Bon Bon, and I think I used Fuego, right? And then Chestnut. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I think those are the 3 mattes that I chose. This is such a beautiful palette. It's huge. Tons of fun options in here. And Ash, Makeup and Chaos, has created multiple looks with this palette, and I think several videos, of course. I'll link Ash's channel in my description box too. If you guys are interested to find out more about this palette, go to Ash's channel and watch their videos where they use this, because they've created such incredible looks with this palette, and I love having it in my collection. I grabbed a Divina single shade for this look, and it's the Mystic Moon Pie, and it's like pink and silver, I would say, is really what you're going to get out of the shade. Loved it. Loved the look that I created. I don't know, out of the singles I picked up from Divina so far, I just liked some of the other ones I chose better than this one. That's why this is ranked where it's at. But still, lovely shadow in its own right. Had a really fun time putting the look together. In the 6th spot is a look that I created with some mattes out of the Zoeva Matte Spectrum palette. This is such a wonderful palette. It's all mattes, of course. Steph gifted this to me. I love it. Such a wonderful, fun color story with more muted matte shades, I would say. None of these are real vibrant or they're just very muted and very fun and very easy to put a look together with. They blend really well, very nicely pigmented. And the shadows that I grabbed out of the Divina singles that I picked up is this one here called Seance. I use that towards the outer part of the lid. It's like a purple and blue flippy beautifulness. And then I also use this one here called Calypso Shadows, and it's gorgeous. Again, kind of like a more hot purple and blue flip. But these 2 together, let me grab this one again, were so lovely. Just really fun. Kind of similar. This one's brighter, I would say. This one's more deep, but so fun, and really fun to use the mattes out of the Matte Spectrum palette for that look. So cool. The palette in the 5th spot is the Jewels palette from Saints, Angels, Sinners. I was sent this in PR, and it's just such a stunning color story. Purples and greens. Yes, love that color combination. And I used this palette for my Makeup and Artists episode 3 featuring New Edition, because I feel like New Edition are the jewels of the boy band R&B world. Absolutely. Now, Shawnee was also sent this palette from the brand owner, and Shawnee created such beautiful looks with this palette. I will link her video in my description box. Go give it a watch if you haven't yet already. This is such a lovely palette. I will say that a couple of the shimmer shades, this one and this one, these 2, are a little bit flakier, and you got to really pay attention to what you're doing when you're putting those shadows on your lids. I filmed the video twice. The eyeshadow look came together really well. I just screwed up with my eyeliner because it busted and went all over my eyelids. But I really do want to use this again. I think this will be coming in a multiple looks video as well. I'm really into the multiple looks videos right now, you guys. I'm loving it. I'm going to try to get as many of those in throughout the year of 2024 as I can. In the 4th spot, I also used other matte shades out of the Matte Spectrum palette from Zoeva. In the first look, the one that I just talked about with the Seance and Calypso Shallows shades from Divina, I used these shades. And then for the look that I'm talking about now in the 4th ranked spot, I used shades out of this area right here of the palette. Really fun. And the shimmers I grabbed to put together for that look from Divina was this one right here. Oh, this is so beautiful. This is called Frothy Surf. It's this beautiful orange and gold flippy, kind of a greeny gold flip. So beautiful. And I paired that with this shade called Orion. And this is stunning too. Beautiful green, electric green. So these two together, just a dream come true. I had so much fun doing that. It was so wonderful. Now in the 3rd spot, I used some mattes from the Avocado Toast palette from BH Cosmetics. This is one of my favorite color stories I have in my collection. It's got the greens, the grunge, the earthiness. So fun. Oh, love it. And I paired the mattes out of this palette that I used with this shade from, where is it? I paired it with this one right here. This one is called Asteria. I had a tough time figuring out which one it was because see, it's green here and then it's reddish. And I could see the reddish and not the green in my little palette there. But this is, I think, it might be my favorite shadow I picked up from Divina so far, Asteria. It's so beautiful. It's got such a lovely shift and it looks so cool on the eyelids, you know? I had so much fun pairing these two together. Love the look that I created with that. The palette in the 2nd spot is the Nomad Cosmetics Royal Europe palette. Oh, I had so much fun putting the two looks together with this palette. Oh, so much fun. The 2nd look was my favorite, the one that I put the blues and stuff together. But I also really loved the 1st look. I used like these 2 shades, this shimmer shade. I think I used that matte as well. But I'm telling you, this has now become my favorite palette from Nomad. I just love this color story. I love the jewel tones in here and these shimmers down here. All of them are just incredible. One of the most beautiful shimmer formulas I've ever put on my eyelids since I got really into makeup about 5 years ago. I mean, and that's a bold statement because I've used a lot of really good shimmer shades, but this formulation is just top notch. Love this. I had so much fun putting those two looks together for that video. And of course, the palette that is in the #1 spot is the Steph's Pier palette that Saints Angels Sinners did in collaboration with my best friend and sister, Not Your Basic Steph. Now, I just picked this up to put it up on my desk and I noticed that a shade has broken in this palette. I don't know why, but it broke. So I'm gonna be real careful with this as I open it up. It's this matte right here called Sinner. I don't know, it just kind of broke into a couple different pieces. So I just don't want to drop that out on the floor. But I'm telling you, this color story is one of my favorites. Well, it is my favorite color story that I've ever seen and ever used. So wonderful. There's a row of mattes up here, 2 rows of shimmers, and then a row of beautiful multi-chrome shadows down here. I had so much fun putting the looks together for the video that I created with this palette. I actually did a collab with Steph using this palette, and then I created a 4 looks video with it. I'll pop all those pictures up as I'm showing the palette right now. And I don't think this is still available, unfortunately, but I know Darcy, the brand owner, was saying that if enough demand is there for this palette to be re-released, she's gonna re-release this. So if you guys want this, you didn't get it, I would hound the brand owner sorry, Darcy, about releasing this again, because I definitely think it needs to be released again so that people can get it, because this is so special in my collection. I'm so happy and so proud of Steph. And this palette is just, it's magnificent. It truly is. It definitely deserves to be in the #1 spot for this palette ranking. It deserves to be in the #1 spot for any palette ranking. So let me know what you guys think of how I rank these palettes. Let me know what you guys think of the looks that I created with these palettes. This is so much fun to go back through the palettes that I used the month before and rank them and stuff. It's not always easy. There was one time I just could not rank them. But yeah, it's really fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. It's just, I don't know, it's a weird peek into my brain. It really is. I don't know that anybody needs a peek into my brain, because that's a scary, scary spot. It really is. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and of course, I will see you soon. Bye!
Drop it.